Welcome to the Body Wisdom Podcast, formerly known as the Nutritional Therapy and Wellness Podcast. We're still the official podcast of the Nutritional Therapy Association, still on the same mission, just a fun new name, beautiful new branding, this amazing new podcast studio for season 2. At the Nutritional Therapy Association, we believe that our health is within our control, and we want to equip you to grab the reins and thrive. We're each bio-individuals, which means there's no one-size-fits-all approach to wellness. But we do know this: everyone gets healthier when they focus on what actually makes us healthier. Nutrient-dense diet, proper digestion, balanced blood sugar, quality sleep, stress management, and all of the subcategories of each of those that we collectively call the foundations of wellness. This podcast is a megaphone to call in recruits who want to join us as we spread truth, revitalize hope, and heal for generations to come. I'm Jamie Belz. Welcome to the Body Wisdom Podcast.
You've tried everything: detoxes, supplements, and complicated protocols, and you're still sick, frustrated, and without real answers. That's because symptoms aren't the root cause. The Root Cause Health Assessment uses nutritional therapy to uncover the hidden imbalances that are driving your symptoms with a bio-individual, back-to-basics approach that actually makes sense. Complete the assessment, meet one-on-one with a nutritional therapy practitioner, and walk away with a clear, personalized roadmap forward for just $25. No guesswork, no overwhelm, just answers. Start your Root Cause Health Assessment today.
All right, so let's dive in. Who am I? Who is the NTA? How on earth is it possible for an organization that's been teaching health and wellness, truth, keyword, since 1997, 30 years, 3 decades, and we really haven't had to change what we've been teaching at all because it's true. And so as they've changed how we feel about all kinds of foods that we eat, and they said this and they said that, and this was causing this and that was causing that, and we're supposed to eat fat and then we're not supposed to eat fat, and all the craziness, we never changed what we said the entire time. 30 years of saying the same thing. I'm going to tell you what those things are today. And by the end of this, I'm going to give you 3 things that if you do these 3 things, I guarantee, I don't know how we're going to mark it, but that you will in fact get healthier, at least a little. We're going to talk about what body wisdom actually even means. We're going to talk about the secret sauce in all of this, and that is bio-individuality. What is that? So we'll talk about all of these things today. We're going to start with who I am. I'm Jamie Belz. It's so nice to meet you. If this is your first time here, you can go back and listen to some of the previous episodes all throughout the Nutritional Therapy and Wellness podcast episodes, the first 86 episodes. There's an episode 0, so there's 86, even though you're seeing episode 85. If you ever start a podcast and someone tells you to go with 0 as the first one, don't do it, because if you're like me, it'll drive you absolutely insane from there on out, because it's like, well, no, I have 86 episodes, but it says 85. Anyway, so I've told my story as we've progressed together in the past. If you want to go back and listen to some of those episodes, that's awesome. I so appreciate those who have and understand my story a little bit better. As we continue on with this new season, I will share more of who I am and why I am who I am. But I'm a functional nutritional therapy practitioner and a master health coach. And that FNTP, mouthful of a title, is why I'm here today. It absolutely changed my world when I went through the FNTP program with the Nutritional Therapy Association. And that was 10 years ago. So since then, since 2016, I have been slowly implementing these things that I have learned into my life. And it's wild because I grew up really active and healthy. I grew up on a farm with no television, and we basically raised, grew, and hunted the majority of the foods that we ate. And so very, very lucky in that sense. But it wasn't until I went through the NTP program where I actually felt what really, like, truly being healthy felt like. And then I did a little bit more and I felt better and better and better. And today I feel healthier than I've ever felt. And so I absolutely love the NTA, the teachings of the NTA. As I mentioned, the Nutritional Therapy Association it's been around since 1997. It was founded by a man named Gray Graham. Gray, shout out to you for doing something so cool and and pushing this forward for the rest of us to be able to learn what really does make us healthy. And the secret in that is, first and foremost, bio-individuality, because we are all so uniquely different. And what I need for my daily diet not only is going to vary from day to day and week to week, month to month, and year to year for me, but it's vastly different than that of my husband's diet or, other people. You look all around, everyone is different. Every single person, every body is different. Our preferences are different. Our access to things are different. So we're not just talking about the biological composition of someone, their genetic makeup. And of course, that contributes to this as well. And then not just that, but the epigenetic factor. What has their lifestyle been like since they were in the womb, right? And lifestyle in the womb, you know what I mean? But like from when they were born, like what did their parents do? Because it does matter. It's not just what they did. It really is impactful generation to generation to generation. There's an episode on Dr. Francis M. Pottinger. I encourage you to go back and listen to it. It's fascinating stuff that speaks to how really it matters what my great-great-grandmother ate. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here is help for our great-great-grandchildren to be able to thrive. And so we're riding this ship by helping you to understand what it is that it takes to be truly healthy for your bio-individual self. So what is that? First and foremost, you need to be eating a nutrient-dense diet, a properly prepared, because we want to make sure that we're not preparing it in a way that makes it lose all of its nutritional value. That's what processed food, that's why processed food isn't good for us, right? And so we want to make sure that we're properly preparing it to retain as much of the nutritional value as we can. We want to make sure that it's clean. There aren't toxins in that food. We want to make sure that it's, again, just as minimally processed as possible. But then furthermore, is it the right food for my body? Because I might be reactive to something where that food, let's say kale, healthiest food for some people, but it might cause an inflammatory reaction from somebody else. And so we need to make sure that we're getting our nutrient-dense diet dialed in per the bio-individual. And once we have that, we need to make sure that we're digesting it, because digestion is such an important thing. And the way of the world today, our culture, we just chew, swallow. We eat so much, we eat so fast, and we really aren't paying attention to what we're eating. And that's making a major impact, a bad impact on our digestion. We need to be digesting our food, because if we're eating the healthiest diet in the world, but we're not digesting it to the point where we're breaking it down to where it can be absorbed and assimilated in our bodies, then we're just missing it. So we want to make sure that we're optimizing our digestion. We want to make sure that we're getting our hydration status up. I did a podcast. It's my favorite. It shouldn't be. It's a solo episode, and I much prefer my interview episodes. But I did an episode. It was a solo episode. Dehydration Nation. Listen to the first 2 minutes of that. Do you experience fatigue, brain fog, constipation, headaches, dry skin, irritability, and overall feelings of ugh? Have you tried every prescription, surgery, psychoanalysis, and knocked on every door of conventional medicine? It's time to try something new. Millions of Americans like you suffer from chronic unintentional dehydration syndrome, or CUDS, but there's hope. A revolutionary solution is here. Introducing water. Clinically ignored for decades due to lack of ability to patent, prescribe, and profit, water is a clear, odorless, calorie-free, fat-free, life-giving liquid that may already be in your home. Then listen to the episode. You'll learn a lot about hydration. But anyway, so getting hydrated, that is huge. Hydration, we're 99.99% water by molecular ratio. So all of the molecules in our bodies, 99.99% of them are water. Water is just a very small molecule. And so, but we hear the professionals say anything from 55 to 70% water. Basically, I think aging is just the slow dehydration of our bodies. So keep drinking water. So we have um, our bio-individual selves. We have a nutrient-dense diet. Digestion is optimized. We have our hydration status on point. We have our blood sugar balanced. That is so important. Sugar's in everything. It's not even our faults. Everything that ends in "ose," and we could go with that for a while, and then they started putting in all kinds of other things that are sugar, and all of the chemicals and the sweeteners, the hyper palatable foods that we've been trained to be addicted to. Sugar is one of those substances that is highly addictive. It actually lights up similar brain areas and has a similar response. The body has a similar response to cocaine as it does with sugar. And so, so keeping that in mind, the last episode of the Nutritional Therapy and Wellness podcast, episode 85, that is on sugar. Go listen to that too. Balancing blood sugar is so important. We'll have some upcoming guests where we're going to talk more and more about this. It's such a hot topic. Diabetes and prediabetes is everywhere, and sugar addiction is huge. And so we're going to not only talk about sugar, in the sense of like the prevention of disease, but also sugar is directly related to so many things, from cognitive function to our energy levels, and that blood sugar roller coaster that I talk about, where it's, high energy. And so with blood sugar, those energy levels. So the blood sugar roller coaster that I talk about all the time. Okay. So you wake up in the morning, and what does the average American do? We chug some caffeine, crush some carbs, and go, 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 go. So we've got this high energy, but then that dips, right? I talk about this in that episode. And so what do? We bring it back up and back down and up and down. And this is why those energy levels are surging and plummeting and surging and plummeting. And I've got an episode coming up. I'm so excited to talk to you about stimulants. I gave up stimulants 40 days, and I want to talk about what I've experienced so far. I'm still on that journey right now. So that's an episode that'll be coming up. But all right, so where are we at? We've got bio-individuality, key factor. We have nutrient-dense diet, per your bio-individual self. We're making sure that digestion is optimized, and we're making sure that we're properly hydrated. We're making sure that our blood sugar is in balance. And then we also want to make sure that we're getting some joyful movement in. A lot of times people are exercising and exercising and exercising, and they're doing it wrong. I want to emphasize doing joyful movement. That can be exercise. That can be CrossFit. That can be a high intensity interval training workout, but it doesn't always work for everyone at every time in their life. Sometimes we need to rest, and we need to just go for a walk outside and breathe. And so joyful movement, that can be gardening, that can be all kinds of different activities. Pickleball can be your joyful movement that you get in. And so we'll talk more about that in episodes to come as well. It's something that I'm very passionate about, but I haven't done a lot of episodes about the movement side in the past. I talk about it all the time, but we haven't had many dedicated episodes. And one that we have is with a guest who's going to walk us through athletic performance, what to eat, what to do, and what to know in order to make sure that your diet is supporting you so that you can optimize your performance in both athletics and cognitive function as well, because they do go hand in hand. And that's kind of brings us, I want to bring it full circle before I land on these as the foundations. So the final one that we name specifically, understanding that these are all umbrella categories, specifically the last one I'll tell you about, which is properly managing our stress. And what that means is we have to reduce the total stress load on our bodies. I have a podcast episode from not long ago with Patricia Lemmer, and she wrote the Total Load Theory book. And in that, she talks about how a lot of the chronic diseases that we have are actually just symptoms of buckets of the stressors, just so many stressors that we carry. And that can be overeating. That's a big stressor on the body. It's one of the things that we're starting to find out with the GLP-1s. We're noticing that as kind of a side thing here. We're going to talk about that in an upcoming episode I'm really excited about. We have tons of stressors with just the mental and emotional side, the relational side, financial side. We have tons of stressors and kind of those stereotypical stressors of work pressure, family pressure, all of that. And we also have sorry to say, but prescriptions and things that we're taking, those are hard on our bodies, and most are not meant to be taken for very long. And then we have just the toxins of the world that we're kind of swimming in a toxic pool. And so when all of these things are going in, we need to make sure that whatever we're consuming through our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth, our skin, whatever that burden is, that total stress burden, we need to try to reduce that, to lift that off of ourselves. Because as Patty Lemmer talks about in her book, the total load, that's a bridge term where you can only hold so much before the straw that breaks the camel's back, or the semi that crashes through the bridge, right? And that's the same case with us. We can only handle so much before our body starts going, hey, whoa, there's something going on over here. That's when we start to see those dash lights, right? The symptoms, the pain and various symptoms, skin rashes, symptoms show up in all different areas. And it's just our body's way of communicating with us to say, hey, there's something going on here. I need X, Y, or Z. And the more that we listen to our bodies, and the more that we understand these foundations of health, the last one is sleep. I need to make sure that I get that one in there too. Good quality sleep. And we've got some episodes that you can go back and listen to on that, and some great things coming up this season on sleep and how to optimize your sleep, because it really is so important to be getting all of these things. All of these foundations play into our overall wellness status. And this is what the Nutritional Therapy Association has been teaching since 1997. Great grandma's working with a group of doctors and teaching them all of these things, because largely doctors aren't taught this information in school. And so he was working with them, and what ended up happening was he realized that there was a new kind of practitioner, a new career opportunity here, and a role that needed to be filled. And that is the Nutritional Therapy Practitioner program that I went through. And so it teaches on all of these foundations of health and how to kind of decode those symptoms that our body is talking about. And so, when you have different issues that are arising, right? Those symptoms, the pain, the inflammation, those types of things, being able to understand how to address those and what to do for that, that's largely what a nutritional therapy practitioner does, helping you to work with those foundations, analyze what you're experiencing, what your symptoms are, to be able to give you some ideas of what your potential imbalances, your potential deficiencies, what those are, so that you can start to get those foundations aligned, get your digestion going better, so that those healthier foods that you're eating are getting to where they need to be so you can utilize them best. Making sure that you're getting that joyful movement in. Sometimes it's an accountability thing more than it's even the training in that. Just somebody to hold you accountable to ensuring that you're getting that foundation of health into your life. And so, all of these things, working with a nutritional therapy practitioner is awesome. And that is something that you can do through the NTA. We have what's called NTA Health, and that's working with Heather McDonough. She is sensational. You can get a consultation with her and actually fill out this entire symptom questionnaire, things that you never even think about. Like, why does your breath smell? And what does that mean? What is that a symptom of? Okay. Like, what does it mean when I'm getting tired at 10:30 in the morning and 2:30 in the afternoon? What does it mean when I'm eating something and quite quickly need to run to the bathroom afterwards? All of these things, you can talk with a nutritional therapy practitioner through our practitioner directory. Actually, we have that too. And I'll make sure that link gets in this episode description, but also working with Heather directly through the NTA, through NTA Health, is another option. And as I said, they're all NTPs are trained in this nutritional assessment questionnaire that I mentioned. It's called the NAC for short. And that's that symptom analysis to determine your potential imbalances and deficiencies. And so you can work with that. Or we have a student right now, actually. One of my most popular episodes in the past was an episode that I did with Mike Lind, Katie, and Allison, and they're all in the NTP program right now. They're graduating soon. I'm going to have them back on either next week or the week after. I don't remember what the schedule is on that one, but they're coming back on, and they're going to circle back with all the things that they've learned since the beginning of this course. And Allison, who's in that group, she's this vibrant, beautiful young woman who has been going through this program, and she's going to college on top of this, and she helps to care for her beloved grandfather, and I believe he's 100 now. Is he 100? More than 100? I'm sorry, I forgot that, Allison, but he's doing great. He's thriving. And a lot of that is the loving nourishment that Allison is giving to her family. Actually, her mom, Carol, decided, like, I'm going to learn more about this. So she jumped into our Foundations of Healing course. And that's where I was going with all of this, was to tell you that if the Nutritional Therapy Practitioner program is too much, because it's 1 year, it is a full, in-depth course that teaches you how to become a practitioner, right? And so if that's too much, if that's not really your wheelhouse, there is another way of doing it, and that is to go through the Foundations of Healing course. That's just a 6-week autopilot program. So the NTP course, the 1-year course, that's instructor-led. You've got a cohort that you get to become best friends with as you go through this journey of self-healing together, because that's what we all do for ourselves, is to heal before we start healing others. But that one covers all of it in depth. And then the Foundations of Healing course isn't instructor-led. It's self-paced. So you have access to it. You can go through all the modules and things. You watch the videos, there are activities and such. And so that one's just a great option as well. And I led a group through this. We just did it a test at one point to see how it would go. And it was absolutely fabulous to lead a group through that. I hope that we get to do that again. If you're interested, reach out to the NTA, let them know. I'd love to go through the Foundations of Healing 6-week course to learn all of this as a group with an instructor. If that's something that you would like to do, I'd be willing to facilitate it again. So express your interest, and we'll see about doing that. But it's just a blast. I mean, everything that we do here, I get to work for the best company in the world, and this organization has helped me to be able to then really pursue my passion. And I oftentimes joke that I get to do what I believe I was made to do, to spread this wellness truth. And I think the secret sauce is finding your passion, but then, being able to find somebody to pay you to do it is the next level. So pro status on that one. I'm so excited to get to do this podcast and to share my testimony with you. I love that the wellness space is booming so much right now. We are seeing incredible things happen. The two biggest, like, money making, everyone's so excited, which is exciting, because where money gets invested, things can grow pretty quickly. And you also have the caveat of greed, where money can be made in this. We have to be really careful about who and what and all the things, right? But I pinky promise, I will always tell you everything that I know to be true and good. I'm not trying to sell you on anything besides these are the things that it takes to be healthy. And I'm going to try to help you figure out what your best avenue to get there is. I'm excited to share more of my story at a later time with you again, or go back and listen to some of the episodes, the first few episodes, where I do share some of that. And I'm going to give you 3 things today that if you do these 3 things, it will help you to get healthier. Number 1, start paying attention to what you're eating. I know that sounds silly, but what and how you eat is so important. It's going to impact the nutrient-dense diet side as well as the digestion side and everything else down the line, but those are the 2 primaries. So if you're paying attention to how much you're eating, ideally don't eat in front of a screen. You want to be paying attention, look at the food that you're eating, and your brain is then better able to not just black out and consume, right? But instead understand what you're eating and how much you're eating and kind of calculate that. Our bodies are so smart. They are miraculous, amazing, regenerative machines. And if we give them what they need, they heal. That's that body wisdom. And so whatever healing looks like to you, whatever leveling up in health, if you're paying attention to what and how you're eating, slow down and just pay attention. Step number 1. Number 2, when you get done eating, go for a 15-minute walk. That's going to help to bring that blood sugar level down because you're burning off that quick sugar that's accessed right away. That sugar is immediately available for you to use for energy. So go use it, and that will help you. It's been said that 3 15-minute walks can actually have better health impacts for some people than a 45-minute high-intensity interval training workout. So give it a try. So, all right, so we're paying attention to what and how we're eating. We are getting those 15-minute walks. And the last one is hydration. Start drinking good, clean water with minerals intact. Those electrolytes that are going to help our body to utilize that water. So again, go find more information about hydration in that podcast episode that I did that's called Dehydration Nation. Go listen to the first 2 minutes. You have to watch it. YouTube, Spotify, easiest ways to watch it. You can watch that and let me know what you think. I loved it. It was one of the best. It's just so fun. Anyway, that's it. So pay attention to what you're eating. Get out there, get walking after you get done eating, and drink good, clean water. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited to get to share more of these types of things. We have excellent episodes coming up. We're going to talk about female hormonal cycles and what you need to eat, do, and know for all of those phases in your cycle. I have an episode coming up that is, I think we're going with the title, but ultimately the episode is to answer, is Adderall prescription meth? We're going to talk about that. So thank you very much for being here. Please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Leave the reviews and all of that. And most importantly, put your phone away. Get rid of that screen. Go do something outside. Get some sun on your skin. Breathe some fresh air. Take your shoes off if it's warm enough to do that where you are. And I look forward to chatting with you next week right here on the Body Wisdom Podcast. Have a great rest of your day.